Hey, welcome to the Gun Talk After Show. If you're on hold, stay there. We'll try to get to everybody. Every call from every listener, no matter what the issue or problem, is important to us. So stick around for a little while as we call Tom Gresham back to the microphone and let our hair down a little bit. Along with a little help from our show producer, Jim Kinsey, who will offer some words of wisdom, and Gun Talk Tech extraordinaire Michael will be checking in. And now, once again, here's Tom.
All right, we are now in the after show. We've been getting it all together here. And, well, basically, we got the crew together. We got some folks on hold. We're going to be yakking about a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And in the meantime, I've been online looking at powders. I can't help myself. I found that there's some really good deals on powders out there using this GunBot thing. So, you know what? It's time for, I know you guys don't reload, but it's time for you to get into it. So.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Stand by. The after show with just Tom Gresham.
With just me, that sound you hear in the background is everybody cranking out ammo in the back. There you go. Yeah, we could actually do that. You could actually load and do this at the same time. So not that we'd be doing any of it very well, but that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, when you give somebody a 10-second out, that kind of scares me.
They always talk about don't do distracted loading. It's called distracted driving. You don't want to be doing that. So
don't text and reload.
Yeah, boy, isn't that the truth? I know people have TVs set up. I don't think I want to be watching TV when I'm loading. I think I need to be concentrating on what I'm doing.
Smoking cigarettes, usually.
Smoking cigarettes is generally frowned on. Yeah. Oh, Jim, I wanted to get you, you were asking me during a break about getting your daughter a shotgun or getting her into shooting, and we had an interesting conversation there.
It's not because she's going to start dating soon, is it?
No, but that's when you have a shotgun, when she starts dating. I knew it was
involved in it. It started back with a conversation I had with somebody about home defense, and the way the whole conversation started was, our kids are starting to get a little older. At what age do you leave a girl home alone? And it's based on a lot of different things. And my response was, and they're not real gun-friendly folks, my response was, when she and I are both comfortable, and Mom are both comfortable that she can handle a small semi-automatic handgun. Because she's a good shot, but it's all 22 single-shot stuff. I haven't put a repeater in her hands yet. Right.
I bet that went over well.
Jaw dropped, just thought I was, because I'm a pretty silly guy, they thought I was being silly. I was 100% serious. You would let her shoot a gun when you were in home? Well, let me think. Is she going to shoot a gun to save her life? Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on.
Is anybody thinking here? Hello?
They were surprised I would even bring up guns in a conversation. Then they were, the vibe I got from them was, letting your daughter shoot a female. That was a prejudice there. And then at such a young age, prejudice. Like, I've got 5 kids. 4 of them shoot. 1 of them, I'm glad he doesn't shoot. Guns aren't his thing. And
not for everybody.
Exactly. Yeah. She's probably the most conscious and gun aware, including myself. She's really aware because from day one, she's been around him.
How old is she now?
She's going to be 11.
Okay.
And at some point, she will have, a 9mm or whatever.
It's time to get her, because I know how much she likes to shoot. It's time to have her shooting a semi-automatic. Do you have a 9?
Yeah, I've got a Glock 9.
Which model?
I always forget 17 or 19.
Okay, all right, 17. Either one is fine. 17 or 19 is fine. The grip's going to be a little bit fat for smaller hands, but she can handle it. And at some point, we may want to think about a single stack, something that's really slim. I tell you, the Walther has an incredibly slim grip.
Now, is it worthwhile considering just leaving it stock or getting a lighter spring and get soft loads?
No, just leave it stock.
Okay.
Don't have her shoot it a lot. Have her shoot it a little bit. Just get a little taste of it for now.
Okay.
If you shoot it a lot, you're liable to develop bad habits, but have her shoot 4 or 5 times.
She has shot it. She shot the AR. She shot almost everything we have.
Oh, okay.
But, she doesn't go out and rip off 300 rounds of the AR by herself. It's just not going to happen yet.
All right. But we were talking about the subject of shotguns.
Yeah, it segued into shotguns. And I, being personal, I don't have any semi-auto shotguns. But I've shot them, and I think they're cool, and that is, my next acquisition, basically. So you guys started talking about 16 gauge on air today, and I'm going, 16 gauge semi-auto would be really cool. And then on break, you and I had the opportunity to talk about it, and I think you should share your insight because it was...
Well, I think a 20 gauge is the way to go. 20 gauge is a great starter gun. 410 is terrible.
Right. And that was the question I had for you. You said 410's not the one to start her with, and we had to go back on air, and I couldn't pick your brain any further, but now I can pick your brain.
Well, the reason is that the 410 has so little, such a small amount of shot. It's hard to break targets. It's really an expert's gun. It's hard to break targets with a 410, much easier with a 20 gauge. And a gas-operated, here's the operative term is gas-operated semi-automatic 20 gauge. Gas operation absorbs some of the recoil.
Right.
So when you get there, I would get a gas-operated 20 gauge auto, or, and here's where we kind of get into, that's what we used to say, and now you could get light loads in 20 gauge. So you could get a pump.
Question, yeah.
You could get a pump and use the light loads, and that controls the recoil or reduces it quite a bit. So a lot of ways to go there. The main thing with young shooters is to get them a gun with a really short stock. Standard is about 14 inches length of pull. That's the length from the trigger to the back of the stock. Okay. You want it to be somewhere in the 12 and a half. Anything that's 13 or longer is too long for kids. So probably 12 to 12 and a half is about where you want to be.
Dedicated youth model, not a...
Yeah, and you can get them where you can actually, like Mossberg has them, and then later on you can get a replacement stock as they grow and get an adult stock for the same gun. Tell you what, we got some folks on hold here who have been kind enough to stay with us. All right, let's try Gary in Shreveport, Louisiana. Hey, Gary, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How can we help you today?
Well, here's the situation. I got a Czech ACQ CZ52 semi-automatic rifle is.
Yes, sir.
Okay. They don't make ammo for it no more.
You can still find ammo.
Well, I get on gun broker. I've got a lot of it.
Okay.
But I kind of hate to shoot it. But the casing in the 7.62 and 39, 7.62 45, I think are the same. But one bullet's .312, the other's .309. So, okay. Are you just out of luck as far as trying to reload? Or could you use the .39?
I honestly don't know. I would have to go look it up in a loading manual. But I was, you already know about Gun Broker, and you know that Arms List, Gun Broker, some of these places you can still find ammo for the 7.62 by 45. Here's my question: if you're stocking up on this ammo, and now you're saying you don't want to shoot it, what the heck are you stocking up for if you're not going to shoot the ammo?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to shoot it, but I am stocking up on it. I collect guns, so.
Okay.
But anyway, I've had a hard time finding it, and I found it on Gun Broker, but
right.
And I've got a 25-35 that's the same way, but I just wonder if you could use the same bullet, or I don't know.
I don't know without opening up a load manual and checking it out. I mean, do you load now?
I'm going to start. So that was my question. I want to shoot it so bad, but
Well, you got the ammo, man. Go out and shoot it some, and then when you get down to the last 100 rounds, sell the gun and 100 rounds to somebody. Let him worry about finding ammo.
Yeah, well, my guns are my investment. I don't buy gold and I don't buy silver.
Okay.
That's an up and down market. Guns are not up and down. Do you think that's correct? To assume that, or
I would say that most people who buy guns for investment ends up losing money because I think guns are a terrible investment. Honestly, I really do. I don't think they appreciate in value. I think you could take that same money and just buy an index fund in the stock market and make a lot more money than you'd ever make in guns. But there are some people who do well at it. But most people who buy guns for investments don't do well. They actually lose money, or maybe. And here's the thing. If you're not making 5 to 10% a year on it, you're losing money because you can make that in the stock market. So if you're talking about where am I going to put my money that's going to make money for me, then there are a lot of places to put money. Guns are not a good place unless you're a serious collector and generally speaking buy a little bit higher end guns. But here's the question. Are you selling any guns? Are you making any money with them? Or are you just kind of acquiring
them?
No,
I've got a CNR, and that's all I do. I don't sell.
Okay.
I do buy guns. I just bought 3 two 1873s and an 1894. I bought a 4440. I bought all 3 of them for $4,500 plus the ammo.
Well, it might. in 5 or 10 years, you'll know if it was a good investment. Now, look, I wish you luck with it, but it's been my experience, and especially talking with Steve Fiestad from the Blue Book of Gun Values, that most people who are buying guns as investments, guys, it's kind of like everything else. The way you make money is not when you sell it, it's when you buy it, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Michelle, you deal a lot with that. You've come across that. I mean, I don't think they're necessarily a good investment if you're looking strictly at the dollar sense, but Michelle can shed some light on if you buy one, you're going to get most of your money out of it pretty much any time you sell it, no?
Well, if you're going to get your money back out of it, it definitely has to be a person-to-person type of sale, and it has to be something that's worth somebody else collecting, and that's the big question, is what does somebody else want to collect that you've already collected?
I was at the Wanamaker show, Michelle, the big gun show out in Oklahoma City, and I was touring around with Steve Fiestad from the Blue Book, and Steve knows guns, and I said, if you were going to buy something here and as an investment, what would you buy? And I don't even remember what it was, but the guy had like 7 of this model, and he said, I'd buy one of those, and the cheapest one was $37,000.
Oh.
And he said, that's a gun that's going to appreciate in value. And that's when I thought, so what you're telling me is buying Remington 700 is not going to get me anywhere.
Not necessarily. Like I said, it's just got to be something that somebody else has to have and is willing to pay the price that you have on it.
Think of it, Tom, $37,000. That's basically a nav system for one of your planes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's $37,000, or all the guns I have plus a car or two.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to spend that kind of money on a gun, it better drive you to work and it better put you up for the night.
and come with a coffee maker,
right?
Continental breakfast at least.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, really, when you're in the retail business, and you can speak from the retail side of it, somebody's never going to sell a gun to a store and make any money on it, are they?
No, it definitely has to be person to person, and that's where the sales at, I'm not necessarily going to say a gun show, but like a high-end show, your different state association shows,
right?
That type of thing. It's not going to be the ordinary, I'm going to do air quotes here, gun show, unquote. You got to go to, I think, a higher class collector show in order for that to be a benefit. Or, like I said, person to person, there's lots of ways that you can put your firearms out there and get them sold and get the price that you want out of it and that they're worth.
You touched on something I'd like to go a little bit further into, Michelle. You mentioned the regular gun show versus the ones that maybe the state association put on, because there are a lot of gun shows out there that are just slightly more than, and maybe not even more than, a flea market, right?
That's very true.
And then you've got the ones that maybe the state association puts on, and usually only 1 or 2 a year. These are not the ones you're seeing every month or every week. And those are where you go to find the good guns, generally.
Right. And these are high-quality, high-dollar firearms. People that collect Winchesters or Remingtons or Colts, et cetera, et cetera. And they have top-of-the-line, well-taken care of firearms for sale or sometimes just for show. Yeah,
and sometimes they just show them and people enjoy looking at them. If you're going to get into that world, though, you absolutely have to become knowledgeable. You have to become a student of them. If you say, okay, I'm going to do single-action Army revolvers, you better know as much about them as possible. Otherwise, you're going to make either a bad purchase or you can get taken.
Right. I'm sitting here shaking my head, yes, because you're absolutely true. You have to know more about them than the manufacturers, if that was possible.
Now, is that like any other industry where you have knockoffs?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
And there's replacement parts that aren't legit. And you get a serious collector, they're going to know the difference.
Right.
There also are people who are making, again, air quotes, like, for instance, Colt single-action revolvers that are not, but they can antique them. They can make them look just right. They're counterfeiting. They're conning people.
Right.
And if they get the right person, they can sell them and make a bunch of money. There have been some interesting stories about counterfeit guns out there.
Wow.
That's
terrible.
terrible.
I think illegal guns, filed serial numbers, that kind of stuff. I don't think somebody actually, but just like Rolex watches, anything else?
Yeah.
I just
and
sold
in this
Michael
case,
for
they may
$25.
be selling these things for $50,000 or $100,000. I mean, there's a lot of money out there on the high-end side.
Yeah, then honestly, the reproductions are very hard. Like you said, they're doing such a good job. It's hard to tell the difference to just the common person.
What that always leads me to is know the people you're buying from. If a guy just walks up to you and says, hey, you know, I had this thing that my buddy and my granddaddy had and all that, and you're going, yeah, maybe that's true or maybe not. But if you're going to start buying seriously high-end good guns, that's when you want to be buying from a dealer who is known in the business, been around a long time, who you can go back to, somebody who would suffer, their reputation would suffer if they ever got involved in a shady deal, I guess.
Yeah, agreed. So
for that H&R handgun that you were going to be getting, you don't want one that's really nicely engraved, you know, that'll fix you right up.
Well, speaking of fixing up, we're running real long in the first segment. Why don't we take a quick pause here, Tom, and then we'll get back and do a short wrap.
All right, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Michael Bain. You know I hate cleaning guns, so anything that makes that job faster and easier is definitely a plus. And that's where bore tips come in. These reusable, lint-free cleaning swabs make cleaning a breeze. And the tighter-fitting bore tips do a better job on barrels than cotton mops or patches. Hey, it's a dirty job. Let bore tips help. To find a dealer, visit boretips.com.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to springfieldarmory.com. That's springfieldarmory.com.
All right, we are back, as a matter of fact. You guys still here? It's hard to get rid of you guys. You used to hang around.
Can we have dinner at your house again, please?
Yeah, sure. If you bring the ammo, I mean, whoever brings the ammo is welcome. It's simple, you know. Oh, I got to tell you guys. Speaking of, I did several steps. Let me bring you along with my brain because it's weird. People coming over for dinner, and then I'm thinking ammo, and then I'm thinking shooting at home, and then I'm thinking, wait, let me tell you about this cool thing. Aaron Moore from LaserMax. He's got these very cool laser sights and things for your guns, but he also has laser guns. They're like blue guns with a trigger. You know, it's got a good trigger pull. It goes click, cool. Click, click, and they shoot laser out. He has tin cans that you set out in your home, and they have laser receivers, and when you hit it with the laser, it tips over.
Cool.
Wow.
You're knocking over tin cans with a laser in your house.
Oh, wow.
It is so crazy fun. I mean, people are putting them in their offices, and we did a thing about it for the Guns and Gear TV show. And I mean, the whole crew, everybody in the place is grabbing these things and shooting and knocking over tin cans. It was nutso fun. It was
you know they have to have their profit margin in the product because they're not going to sell a lot of earmuffs.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine? I mean, Ryan even had his daughter come in. She's 4, had her shooting them. He was helping her. I mean, what a fun thing that is.
Now, are these visible lasers?
They are, yes. I mean,
that's really cool because you can totally practice your trigger pull that way. You know, you can see if you're dipping that laser down or if you're yanking on that trigger too hard.
Yeah, and he's got other targets where you can actually see the laser and you can see your hits and it marks them just like a regular paper target. Except you hit a button and it resets and it shows it on the screen. It's called Laser Light, Lyte. But you got to go to the website and check it out. You guys will be all over that. I mean, once you see it, you're going to buy these and put them in the studio. And then what good will you be?
Well, we'll have to put the cat away because it would drive the cat nuts.
No, for the cat, you use BB guns. Come on, guys. Don't you know? Everybody knows this.
Tom, we got a PETA lawyer on line 4.
Yeah. That's right. People eating tasty animals.
Yes,
I love it.
Attaboy.
Yeah, no. You know, for all the cat lovers out there, I didn't really mean it. I didn't really mean to say it. But
Nice.
Oh, wow.
We had fun today. We had a fun day.
We had a fun day. We got to talk 16 gauge, which nobody ever talks about anymore.
Yeah. I was telling Tom I've never even shot one. Sad.
If you're cruising the stores, let me get Michelle back in here. Michelle, when you were back in the old days when you were doing retail work,
when you had a real job,
yeah, when you had a real job, you guys probably didn't get many in, but they probably came in occasionally, didn't they?
Oh, they came in occasionally, and they didn't last for long either. Yeah. You know, they're just they're an easy shooter, and I don't want to use the word collection, but, that is one of those things that's missing from most people's shotgun availability. You got the 12s and you got the 20s and you can get a 410, but 28 and 16 are far harder to come by.
All right, here's a question for you. When your typical gun store that takes in used guns, would it be possible, assuming you get to know them and they know you, to say, look, guys, if you ever get a 16 gauge in, here's my number, call me. Will they do that?
I can speak for our store only, and I can say that, yes, we do.
Okay. So, if you said, okay, there's something I'm interested in, and understanding that it'll show up when it shows up, if it shows up, but that way, the other thing that occurs to me, Michelle, is if you have that card, it's going to make you a lot more willing to do a trade or do a purchase on that gun when you've got a ready buyer out there.
Well, absolutely. It changes the whole process of, collecting and reselling for many people. Then, yes, we'll get their name and number and we'll call them if something comes in. And they do occasionally, people unfortunately passing without an inheritance or people just needing to get rid of the firearms for some situation or another. They come through the store.
Yeah, they're out there and they cycle through.
Yep.
And now the other thing you could do is, if you were looking for a 16 gauge, go to the local trap and skeet range and put a card up on the bulletin board. Every gun, shooting range has a board up there, and say, looking for 16 gauge and your number, and then you never know when somebody's going to look at that and say, I've been thinking about selling that gun, and he just gives you a call out of the blue.
So, Tom, are you authorizing us to just give Michelle's number out over the web right now? Is that what?
Sure, for everybody that has 16 gauges, Michelle can be the clearinghouse for all 16 gauge transfers.
Great.
That's right. So, go ahead and pick me up one while you're at it, please.
There you go. That'll work. All right, guys, I think we have beaten this horse to death again. Nay, says he.
Well, thanks, man. It was fun.
Absolutely.
Always. All right, here's the deal. Go out there and do something fun. And like I say, think about how you make your life an adventure. Well, that's a subject I think we need to return to occasionally because there are things, don't we all get in a rut?
Oh, yeah.
And,
sure.
We say, you know what, there's a couple things I've always thought, man, I'd love to do that. Well, now's the time, baby. This is it.
Bucket list, here we come.
Carpe
There you go. Hey, I didn't tell you about my bucket list item. I got it as we go out the door here. In 2 weeks, I'm going to go fly a P-51 Mustang.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
Serious bucket list item.
Nice.
Cool.
So there you go.
for you.
So,
I'd say take pictures, but you'll probably be a little too busy.
we are definitely taking pictures. I'm going to slap a GoPro on my head, or if I have to hold up my teeth, I don't care. But we're going to get some pictures.
There's a visual.
There's a visual for you.
Well, good luck. Have fun with that. That's awesome.
All right.
Take
Later,
care.
guys.
Bye.
Now, wasn't that fun? You'll probably want to join us again next week for the Gun Talk After Show. It comes up right after the radio broadcast right here. It's where Tom and some of the crew and staff stick around and let their hair down a little bit, doing what they do best, talking about guns. We'll see you right here next week.